Well, in the first game we had one training session together, and we had to put a new back line together. And I thought, we didn't start well, but we ended off the game really well. We knew at home that we needed to take charge of the game, but Andile made such a great save right at the beginning that kept us in, and they had one or two half chances, but so did we. We could have gone into the game at halftime with a lead, but we just kept saying, keep the intensity up, keep the width up, the gaps will come in between. Let's move the ball around quicker. And that's what we did in the second half, and making the substitute of Colossa as well, pushing Linda a little bit further up, gave us that little more impetus going forward. And then we got the goals, and keeping the ball and making sure that we didn't concede was really key. I said if we don't concede, we're going to create chances, which we did. But we still have that age-old problem of not finishing teams off when we have them, when we have those opportunities, and that is one thing that we still really, really need to work on. But very proud of the team. As I said, we have a new backline, a very young backline. There's so many players that were not available, but they stood up, and I think over these two games, they've really matured and grown, and that really augurs well for the future because we're not just looking at now, we're also looking at further. So we have to make sure that we also make sure that we refresh, make sure that we give players an opportunity. And that's what happened today. I thought the backline was solid. Up front, we could have done a little bit more. We knew that in transition, they had the very quick physical players. And I thought on the flanks, we handled that really well and hardly gave them a chance in the second half. And that was important for us.
Coach Kamkhalo Mokhale from YFM. Coach, like you rightfully say that before the first leg you only had one training session, but before that you played USA twice. Would you say that the USA games gave you enough test and preparation for these two leg games?
Look, I would say yes and no because a lot of the personnel changed with a lot of players not being available through to injury, exams, and we all know with Noko having residential permit issues, we then needed to put practically a new team together. But yes, players being part of the camp because training happens, and that's how players grow. But it really did help because in the second game against the US, we also changed the team a lot to give other players an opportunity. With also Sinotolo not being available due to her getting a degree later in the year, not having to miss schoolwork. So that really helped us. But there's no bigger teacher than playing the game. And I think over the first leg, we tried to manage to get them to play together. But as the training sessions went on, we work a lot in training on their long balls, especially to the striker and to the winger, because we knew they were going to do that in the first game, but we could have handled, especially the goal they scored better. So we worked a lot on that during training, also a lot on us being better when we win the ball. And in the first half, we struggled a bit, but in the second half, we opened them up really well.
Coach, you made some changes coming into this second match. What is on that?
We always said that before we even started playing, we said that Andile was going to play the one game and Kaylin was going to play the other game. There's not a lot of difference, and we felt that we've got two very good goalkeepers. We obviously brought Nicole in. She ended the game really well and gave us the width. We decided to go with Linda to give us a little bit more control towards the end of the game. Say from 70 minutes onwards, Kalosa tired badly, and it's the result of playing Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, Wednesday. So we needed to make sure that bring her on at the right moment to make sure that we can control the game. Tremaine, obviously, we were going to play her, and we went with two up front because we needed to win the game. And that's the effect of us making those changes because we knew that this was a game that we needed to win, that we needed to score. And the personnel that we changed, we felt that that was the team that would get us the result.
Coachy, well done on the result. Congratulations. How do you then balance the old with the new? Because in your squad now, the defense that you're relying on, I think it's three, four young players that are still new. And up front, you've got your Tembi, the country's pride, if I may use that line from the streets. You've got all the tried and tested players that are playing with this. And there's something, that is called being starstruck. How do you balance that within these two groups? Are there any sessions that you run with the complete squad that makes them gel in easily, even from a personnel side before the playing starts? And just to add on that, the inspiration that comes from the Springbok, looking at you almost won the World Cup.
Look, our technical team plays a huge role where that is concerned, where we sit with groups of players or sit with individual players. And it was very important. And their coach T was really good with that, sitting with the back line and explaining to them, don't be smart. You can all play. Let's just protect each other. Let's just cover each other. And let's play every ball on its merits. But we're always speaking about making the core group bigger. Luna Temba has been part of our squad for a very long time, but hasn't played except for Kosafa. Wendy played at the World Cup as a left winger, but we've seen her play at Tux as a left back. And obviously, we needed a physicality and a speed against DR Congo, and that's why we played her at the back. Fikile has been in and out of the squad. Karabu's played in a different position, but we know of her playing at Sundowns in the back three. We also know of her playing at the university, either as a DM or as a centre back, and that's why we went with that group to play. But it augurs well because now a little bit more pressure is put on the rest of the team, and competition is good because competition makes the team even better. We also have within our camp that the younger players will sit with the more senior players and sort of have discussions, etc. We decided to watch the Springboks. We were sitting in the meeting room with a big screen, and we decided to watch the Springboks, even standing up and singing the national anthem. And I think Kaylin came to me afterwards and she said, "Coach, this was really good. We're ready." So we decided to sit and watch the game and support the Springboks, and I think that's a little bit where my voice has gone to as well. Because that last couple of minutes, we were not watching anymore, we were walking around, but the inspiration that they bring, I mean, they put their bodies on the line. They surely know who they were playing for the people back home, and we do the same. We know the people back home is really important for us. The people back home really supports us, and we were really happy that the fans came out in their numbers to support us. Because when the team needed a little bit of a lift, they started singing and they started supporting the team. So that's really, really important.
Hi, Coach. Let me piggyback on that answer, the Springboks and the inspiration. I think when one looks at South Africa now and the national teams, especially, when you look at where the Springboks are probably ranked in the way that they are so accessible and relatable to everybody in the country, I would say probably the next team that in terms of the profile in the country that is closest to them. Back in the day, it used to be the Proteas, but I think Banyana Banyana is probably the one closest to them right now. How do you respond to that? And also taking from that inspiration and being wanting to be the team that is for all South Africans, not just speak to the female footballers or female fans in the country.
Look, when you look in the stands, it's just not female fans, it's male fans, it's mixed. When we came back from WEFCON and you looked at the fans that was at the airport, it was mixed. And we before we went to WEFCON, we spoke about giving hope to the nation. We know these people that's unemployed. We know all about load shedding, etc. And to see people during WEFCON, during the World Cup, sitting on their phones, sitting on their tablets, sitting on their laptops in the dark, watching the team, and to hear people say that it was so intense, and to see the videos, uh, we surely on the right track in inspiring a nation because we believe that we don't just do it for ourselves, we do it for everyone that supports women's football, be it male or female, coaches that have come before, players that have come before, coaches out there that work in women's football. They play a huge role because we have the players for 1 week, maybe sometimes 2 weeks. So they play a huge role. So we do it for everyone connected to women's football. And if the team does well, everybody needs to get that credit. The technical team that's in the background that nobody sees, the work that they put in is second to none. Paul busy with the analysis. We're already working on Burkina Faso to make sure that we get it in time. So when players want games or players want stuff, they already have it. Coach T and I talk almost every day, and people say we're crazy, but we're talking about the team. We're talking about what we need to do. So each and every one plays a crucial role, and that's how we try to make it. When you hear Antile speak, when you hear Tembi speak, it's all about that girl child out there, inspiring that girl child. But I don't think it's only the girl child, but it's the boy child as well. So I think in their own right, they are already inspiration to the others out there.
Yeah. Sorry, just to follow up on that. How much more then? I think we've asked a number of players, especially since you guys came back from the World Cup. We've asked a number of anyone associated with women's football in the country. Then, how much difference do you believe this profile will be or raised if we have that professional league in the country? Like, is that a conversation? I don't know where you sit in those conversations in terms of do we know how far they are, and also just the difference that you believe is going to make.
I don't know how far it is, to be honest, but we have reiterated that it's non-negotiable that we need to have that professional league. We don't want to speak 4 years down the line about a professional league again. We've played against countries that have fully fledged professional leagues. Can you imagine if that player didn't have to go work, if that player didn't have to midweek not be available for a club because she has to work? Can you imagine where they would be? They would be doing football 24/7. At the moment, it is not 24/7. And yet the team is doing what they're doing. It's because of the work put in behind the scenes by the players, a lot of them on different programs. But you rightfully say, if we had a professional league, I think it's uh, it's limitless of what can happen. It's just unimaginable of what can happen and what can transpire if we had that professional league. So to the corporates out there, we say thank you to Cecil though, because they've been with us since 2009. But we need more to come on board, not just for us, but to take our teams to the different level. You have the U17s who are in the process of qualifying. The U20 unfortunately did not make it, but they need to play more. You know, they only play when there's qualifying games, but they need to play more. You look at Morocco, every FIFA window, the U17s play, the U20s play, they even have an under 23 team. So they use every FIFA window for those teams to play. Can you imagine if we had the resources to be able to do that? So for a professional league to start, I think it should have started yesterday.
Coach, I just want to pick your brains on something. Obviously, we're in a new 4 year cycle for the World Cup. I know the Olympics becomes important, but the World Cup becomes more important. Um, you know, some of the players that are here now, the next World Cup will be too far in terms of age, because of form and all that other stuff. How are you managing the transition of flooding in the new players, also looking at the guys that were there for Sapa? How are you dealing with that issue of making sure that you're flooding in the new generation of Banyana players who will ultimately go to the
Look, today we had a very young squad on the field. The back line all under 22. Um, and Nicole and Okolo, also a very young age. So we slowly but surely blooding in the youngsters. And Tabi Singh is only 19. Unfortunately, she's busy with matric exams. The Shamasi twins, 22. Sinokolo, 22. So we are slowly but surely blooding in those players. Bongeka, still very young as well. Siboleli, still very young as well. So we are slowly but surely blooding in those players. Today, I think they matured today. So that gives us a big headache, as you say. But I've already got a list of players that I'm looking at, not just locally, but abroad as well. Because we're looking at, not as you say, just Olympics, but we're also looking at 2027, whether I'm here, whether I'm not here. We're looking at all of those things. So we have to make sure that we start with that, whether some of them get a lot more game time before the Olympics. Because you also want to go there, but already giving them opportunities to play. So if this one's not available, they can step up without any pressure. They can step up because they've shown their quality. And I think that's important. We have 11 players or more not here. Some are injured. Some are writing exams. So, they stood up today. And it augurs well for us going forward with the youth that we currently have. To be able to compete against a team that was also physical. I think the rankings is really not a true reflection of where teams are, because the gap has closed so much. We saw it at the World Cup. You couldn't predict who was going to win. So we just need to make sure that we consistently give them game time, because the game's the teacher. Unfortunately, the FIFA dates now going forward are all Olympic qualifiers, except for the one in November. That's the final WAFCON qualifier. But we need to make sure that the ones in between, that we make sure that we bring these players in, whether it's for 3 days, whether it's for 4 days, to make sure that they're ready, to take the next step, because it's important that we prepare them, not wait for 2026. A lot of them should be going to the next WAFCON, which is 2024, to make sure that they're ready for the big one, where you have to qualify for the World Cup, which is 2026. If you fail to take a new generation of players to 2024, we might be in trouble in 2026.
Last two questions. Coach, the issue of the Abu Ghul rule not being in effect in the Olympic qualifiers. How much of a role did it play in today's approach in perhaps going forward? Because I want to see that most of us, if not for everyone of us, even we're not aware of group.
Look, I went and looked at it when I got back, obviously, and I saw that it wasn't. But our whole aim today wasn't about that. Our whole aim today was to win the game. Our whole aim was today was to keep a clean sheet and to win the game because we felt we had the quality. We said if we're going to keep a clean sheet, we're going to create chances, which we did. And the away goal, or the sort of goal didn't really matter because we still wanted to make sure that we get the win because in football, anything can happen. You play for a draw and then the last minute they score a goal and then you're out of it. So we wanted to make sure that we keep it in our own hands, irrespective of the result in the first game, because there was no way that we were going to play for a draw. It was just too dangerous to even think of that.
I have one question. Just the last minute. Yes, okay, you said last two.
Can I just?
But unless you're going to do Afrikaans, then I can wait.
No, first you. I just have to run it through my
Okay.
head.
No, just a quick one, Coach. Because you have the qualifiers now, AFCON qualifier. How do you balance the two the major tournaments actually with your squad, with your team?
Look, it's great to have given a lot of the young players game time. I think if I'm a player out there, I'm going to think I need to work hard for my place. I need to really put in the work because these players that play today really put in a shift and really show their quality. But like I said before, competition in a squad can only be good for the team because everybody now has to raise their levels and it becomes a little bit more competitive. But it also makes the squad a little bit better. We just have to look again who's available for the next one because it comes down to that. Some would still be writing exams. Some would not be writing exams. I'm sure Noko's residence permit issues will be out of the way. The other challenge that we face is obviously visas because in some of the European countries or the countries that they play in abroad, they don't have embassies. So we already started working on that in camp. And hopefully we will have everybody available and then I will have a very big headache.
Natima, through you, message of good luck to Sundowns going to Champions League.
Oh, yeah. To Coach Jerry and the team, I want to wish you all the best. You won the inaugural one. You just missed out on the one last year, but I think you have the quality in your team. You have the support of the whole South African nation. You have the support of each and every footballer out there, be it male or female. And we know that you're going to bring the trophy home. We know that you're going to make us proud, and we will be supporting you from afar. So all the best to Sundowns on your travels, and bring the trophy home, Mamelodi Sundowns, because that's where it belongs. Afrikaans. What do you want me to say in Afrikaans?
Just a reaction on the match.
Okay.
And qualify for the next round.
Okay. Ons het geweet dat die wedstryd vandag gaan baie moeilik wees. Jy weet die eerste wedstryd was gelykop geweest en maar ons wil seker gemaak het dat ons niks doele inlaat nie. En ons wil ook seker gemaak het dat ons die game kan control en dat ons kansse kry dat ons die kansse gaan vat. In die eerste helfte het ons 'n paar kansse gehad, maar Andile het ook 'n baie goeie save gemaak vroeg in die wedstryd. En ek dink dit het ook vir ons 'n bietjie push gegee. Toe ons die veranderinge maak, net na rustyd, het ons 'n bietjie meer kontrole gevat en dit was wingplay at its best. Jy weet, wingplay at its best en om die doele te in te laat, maar ek dink ons defense was baie goed vandag. En toe ons die bal begin in die late in die wedstryd baie vinnig in die rondte beweeg en jy weet to chase hulle shadows en dit was ons gesê dat rustyd hou net die intensity op, maar maak seker dat ons solid is agter.
So moving on to the next round.
Oh, okay.